Hi guys, welcome to Tuned In, where Cody, also known as Zodiacs, is here to give you an update on the stream we did. That was in F. I believe it's called Stream in F, and you can go check that out on our YouTube page if you guys want to. Right now, this is just an update video on this beat that here, everything that we added in, and everything that I changed, and I did actually add in quite a bit and added in quite a few new things and even a whole new section. With me today, I have a Sean Moody, here with me to be a guest on this little
Hello,
episode.
everybody.
Yep, that's Sean, and his name really is Sean Moody.
Sure is.
All right, guys. So this is gonna add. So first, I'm just gonna play the beat for you so you guys can hear it. I added in a little intro at this part right here. There you go. Sounds pretty cool, huh? All right. So what we're gonna do here. So this is actually what I started off with. The first change that I did was I actually added in a hi-hat sample, um, right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that one right now. So the hi-hat sample sounds like this by itself. And the couple things that I added on the mixer right here was I actually put it through a Maximus, and what I did was I cut out the lows, and I also cut out the low completely so that I wouldn't be overpowering in the bass, because it is actually a full drum sample, but what I really wanted from it was the hi-hat sample. Here's the mid. See, the mid is lowered a little bit, and then I left the high so that you could really kind of hear the hi-hat in. So let me go ahead and turn this off so you can hear how the sample sounds without any of my modifications. So right there you can really hear the kick, you can hear the snare that it has in it, and then you can also still hear the hi-hat. But with Maximus on, that I did after I cut out the lows and lowered the mid, so it adds a nice really little touch, and it also adds some nice extra little bongo sounds into it too.
So that Maximus is basically just like your groove switch turned on.
Yeah, I guess you could call it a groove switch. I like that description. But what it really is it's a tool that lets me change the highs, the mids, and the lows. Is because, as you know, music always, there's frequencies in music, and each frequency displays a kind of lower sound. So if I pull up my parametric EQ right here, you can see here the low bass. Low bass starts at 63 hertz, and then our highs go up to 6,324 hertz. And what I did was I basically cut off everything from about 140 hertz down, lowered everything from 200 hertz to about 1,300 hertz, and then kept everything the same. But what it did was I just kind of cut out some of the took out the sounds that I didn't want, and then left in the sounds that I did want. And that's what I did there. Now the next section I did was, of course, I have this little break right here. So that little breaker there. Actually, I'm not sure if I don't think we had the bongos in here when I did the stream. So also the next one I did was I just got a bongo sample. I didn't really do much to it other than I added it in. Okay. And I also put a reverb on it. And this is the bongo sample by itself. And the bongo sample is actually at 102 beats per minute, but my song here is at 130. So what I did was I put it on Pro Transient right here. If you click on this option SMP on all your samples, if you do Pro Transient, what it does is it actually will keep the tone of the sound the same, but it'll change the speed. So, you know, if you had someone singing in like the key of D and you stretch out the song, suddenly the key will change because you stretch out the song. But if you set it on Pro Transient, it'll actually keep the key the same. It might warp the vocals or even the drums a little bit, whatever you're doing, quite a bit. If you stretch it too much or not enough, it might have like kind of this tinny kind of ringing sound to it. But here for these bongos, since the speed doesn't change that much, and since it's just bongos, it actually ended up sounding okay when I sped it up to 130 beats per minute. So I added some bongos there. Now here's the next section. This is the section that I probably changed the most and added the most in. So from here was, as you can see on the beat here, I actually added in a section of the bongos that I wanted to play repeatedly because I really wanted to have this this build-up or this type of climax into each note. And this is the bongo part I cut out, and then I just layered it over. And that plays on the first two beats of every bar right here. And now when I add in the rest right here, it goes. So there's the drum. I also added in a new drum pattern just to give this part a significant different feel. And this is the drum pattern I added in. Whereas the original drum pattern sounds like this. Okay, so drum pattern 3 sounds like this. Okay, and then the next part that we added in was, of course, this pattern right here, pattern 11. And that's the strings right there. And what I did was there, you know, as you can hear in this little section right here, let me go ahead and play it again. You hear the strings swell up, and then you hear a bum kind of sound, and I just did a neat little trick there to create the illusion of that because I don't actually have a string instrument that can do that. I can hold out a note and then hit right at the very end. So I did a cool little illusion there, and I'll show you here so you can hear it. So I did an illusion there basically. So on pattern 11, if you look at pattern 11 right here, it actually, what it does is I actually have a note. You can ignore this little thing right here. I didn't actually use that. But you actually see the hit right here. So pattern 11 is a hit. So basically it's literally just a hit, and this is a violin spiccato. So a full violin ensemble spiccato, and spiccato just means the note will hit fast and hard. Now right here I actually have the strings, and it goes up like this. So now if you look here, I actually have two slow violins. You have this one, and then I have this one right here. And you're probably wondering why I have two. The reason why I have two is because I actually wanted this one to have a different velocity than my original slow violin that you hear in the beginning right here. And the reason why is, if you remember correctly, velocity determines how hard or basically how abrupt or how loud they hit the first note. So I wanted the notes to be softer. I wanted the notes to come in softer, but I still wanted them to be loud, and I didn't want to change the whole song or create an automation clip for it, so I ended up just making its own instrument and changed the velocity and increased the volume. And as you can see here, the velocity slowly increases near the very end to really give it, you know, that the subtle tone that it comes into, if you hear it right here. And as you can see at the very end, there's a very large swell in the sound. And I am using a slow violin, so the note comes in slower, but it gives it an even more dramatic effect when you raise the velocity at the very end like that to make it really feel like it's coming into something else or going into something else even. Okay, so that's what I did there. And of course, if you put them together, you hear the da-dun, da-dun. And it has this really cool sudden effect. And the reason why I wanted it to do that is because I wanted to go to a bunch of sounds to come in during the swell, and then boom, when it hits the dun with the violins, there's a sudden decrease of sound, and then it goes back into it again, and that's the reason why I layered all my drums like this. So if you hear it, hear it again. and that's one of the reasons why I changed the drum to match that kind of feeling and that sudden change. At pattern 6 that you can see right here, it's actually just a little hi-hat that hits, it's not even really a hat, it's more of a shaker really, but it hits tap, 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 quiet, tap, 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 quiet, in, you know, basically in unison with the swell. So if you hear the hat right here. And right there, I really wanted to give this section, you know, its own kind of flavor, its own kind of life. And so we'll hear this section again. And there you go, and then it goes into the next, the beginning section again. And also too, at the bass here, I changed the bass to completely match the swell of the strings too, because the original bass sounds like this. And that's the original bass, and this is the new bass, just to match the strings. And there you go. And that's the newest section I added in. Also right here, there is a flute here too, and what I did, when it comes into the next section, the flute really does give kind of a great kind of sound that it comes into the next section. So I have all the sounds cut out except for minor bongos, and then it comes into the bass and the rest of it again. And there you go, and it goes into the next section. So basically the idea is, that's the idea I added into this song, and at the very end I just did a very simple fade out. I just created a automation clip on the master track. So right here, just right click here and you can create an automation clip. And then right here, it'll end out on the song. So if you hear right here. And then it does a very simple fade out into the end of the song. Alright, and that's the update for this stream. Now, what I'm going to call this is, the name of this song is called Endless Smile. And the reason why I have Sean here is actually to help describe why that feels like a good fit, a good fit for this song. And it'll also be on SoundCloud if you guys want to pick it up, free to download. So Sean, how does this beat feel? What does it make you feel like? Let me go ahead and just play it in the background while you speak.
Sounds good. Yeah, man. So I don't know, like when you showed it to me, it made me think of it really really serene kind of thoughts. To be honest, like it feels really peaceful and very zen-like to me. That's just what I thought was so cool about it. And actually listening to you kind of talk about the way that it sounds, or why it sounds the way that it does, especially when you're describing how you manipulate your swells into, it almost has a percussive sound, like at the end of every particular beat, like you're, it ends really abruptly. Yeah, it made me think of like just a lot of contrasting thoughts, but the idea of a singular point being completely still and calm and peaceful around something that's constantly evolving and very chaotic. It was a really interesting concept, and actually it kind of makes sense with how you manipulate your swells and the way that if you use a dynamic to be very, very flowy yet very abrupt at the same time. I think that's kind of why it made me feel that way. But I liked it a lot. I thought it was an awesome sounding beat, for sure.
Alright, and that's Sean's thoughts, and we ended up on the name Endless Smile, specifically because we wanted an idea that something, like, life is always changing, it really is, and especially because this beat really evokes that kind of emotion where it really makes you think about your daily life, your daily toils. But the thing is, something about it never changes, and of course that's your outlook. So whatever your outlook is, positive, bad, no matter what happens in life, it'll carry you through. And that's how we ended up on the name Endless Smile, because basically that's kind of what you need lately. to go through, or to get through, the daily, trepidations of life.
Message.
Anyway, guys, thanks for checking out the update stream. This is Zodiacs, also known as Cody, here with Sean Moody.
Yes,
I hope
sir.
you guys enjoyed the beat. And if you guys really liked it, you guys can go pick it up on SoundCloud. You guys have a good day.
See ya.